talked a little bit ago. I forget exactly what, but I have my first deal closing tomorrow, first thing in the morning. So that's when it's getting wired over. The closing documents are signed, everything. But I was
Awesome.
just wondering what I should do, what I should reinvest the money into.
Go out and finding other deals. How did you get that deal?
It was actually referred to me from someone in Texas. It was a pay-per-click lead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. How much
Yeah.
did you pay for it?
I'm just gonna probably give him like 1 grand at closing.
And how much you making on it?
15.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how did you find that that source?
It's just community at Discord.
I
But
got it. So I would continue to try to work with them
yeah.
because the reality is every 100 people that approach you with that offer, very few ever come through. It's just the reality of it. So although that's great, you want to expand on that source. Are you doing it locally or virtually?
It's locally. I've been doing a bunch of other marketing, but for some reason, like he just gave me one lead, and that's the one that hit. So
It is,
uh,
but don't get lazy on it.
yeah,
Consider it as a gift. And then what state are you in?
Utah.
So, boy, I mean, your market's really expanding up there.
Yeah,
You got to get out and to like get into it. I would just bury myself on the government list, and then I would find one of the marketing meetings I talked about earlier, cold calling, SMS, driving for dollars, and
yeah.
it's warming up. I would just you got to go crazy. What you guys got to understand is your first. How long you been wholesaling for?
2 months.
Okay, so your first 2 years, you're just trying to get the engine started. It sputters, and every now and then it spits out something really good. And the problem is the consistency. So how you cure that problem is by taking a massive amount of action and just fricking market like crazy. You cannot market enough in wholesaling.
Mm,
Now, a lot of people think you need to spend a fortune marketing. You don't. That's where most people get in trouble with gurus. They'll pay the guru 5 or 10 grand, and then they'll commit to a $5,000 budgeting market, and they don't know how to talk to people, and they struggle and they lose a lot of money. And then they get one deal and they go, I just made a fortune. And then their guru holds the check up. I'm like, yeah, but you made 10 grand, but you paid him 10 and you paid 15 grand in
yeah,
marketing. Like you're way upside down. And that's why I don't promote, I don't call you guys students, even the people I partner with. I go, look what so-and-so did. I take zero credit for what you guys do because it's ridiculous for like people to take credit for what you do. So don't think you can buy every lead because I've tried that. You can't.
yeah.
So what I would do is I would dive deep into those government lists and I would go driving for dollars, go hard in the paint. And then you seem to know how to network with people. I would just network with everybody in all your local RIA groups and everything. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean go in and buy all their crap. It just means network with the people there. So my first 2 years, I think I went to every RIA meeting I could possibly go to within a 100-mile area. I went everywhere. I just
Oh,
want to know
wow.
everything. And honestly, I got some serious lessons in that. And I got some of my best JV partners ever there. And everybody knew Rick's really good at finding motivated sellers. He sucks with cash buyers. He spends no time on it. I didn't care. I do 10
Yeah.
deals in a month. I'm like, if I make 10 grand a deal, I can make 100 grand. You guys sit there and chase the cash. Because I found cash buyers annoying. I go, I can figure that out later.
Yeah.
And I did, but I gave up a lot of money. And I made 2 or 3 wholesalers. I made their entire career the first 2 years. And then when I got my own dispo, they were like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm like, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Yeah.
They never wanted to go out. So listen, I'm happy you got that deal and I love it, but don't think you can run a Facebook ads campaign.
Yeah.
Don't think you're going to go on Google PPC because I'm telling you, I don't even do that. It's big boy money. It's like 60 to 100K a month. And you have to have an entire team dedicated to it. You're going to get killed. Attack the probates, code violations, driving for dollars. Just wherever there's smoke, there's fire, and you need to find as much smoke as you humanly possibly can, because you're going to have to find 100 smoke trails to find just a few good deals. And that's the reality. But if you keep your head buried for 2 years doing it, doesn't mean you don't have to have fun. You will make a ton of money. So I've got a couple friends in Utah, and they started there. They're doing very well.
Yeah.
Very well. And they've
So
only been doing it 3 years. And like,
yeah.
I didn't even know the market was that good there. And they're like, they've moved on to like commercial and stuff like that. But it's like, I always do wholesaling. I just add all the other layers to it. So dude, you're in the right place for it, man. People love going to Utah. I've never even been there.
Yeah.
I got to get there.
No, it's amazing. Like up in Park City and all that. But so you think I should stay local and not really probably eventually go virtual, but you think Utah's a good market? I
Always do local. Always do local, even if you're in San Francisco. Why? Because you know the community, you know everybody around there, and when a deal comes, you'll be laser focused and you can make a fast decision on it. Doesn't mean you can't pick a virtual market. You can, The challenge with virtual markets is you don't know that market. You know how to find motivated sellers, and it takes on average about 2 to 3 months to get dialed into a virtual market. And it's a
Yeah.
little bit stressful because you can't touch the property. Like you talked about Vince earlier, he does a lot of stuff, and it's annoying because he can't get a guy to send him docs, so he has to hire some local boots and trust some people, and he's had frustrations doing that, just as I have. And that's the challenge with virtual and that part. So you make less on the virtual marketing, but it's easier. It's kind of a trade off. So if you do both, so if you plan to have your roots in Utah and you got family and your friends there, always expand there.
Yeah.
Because I've done multi-million-dollar deals just off people I know.
Mhm.
I was able to buy a marina because I knew the guy next door that was able to do it. And honestly, without that relationship, I would never had a shot at it. And
Wow.
before it got the brokers and stuff like that, that's the old wholesaler in me. So, and I do virtual. I do all over the country now. I used to have a select 3 to 5 markets. Now I'm almost in every market. And
Wow.
it's nerve wracking. I don't make as much money, but I do a heck of a lot more volume. And that's how the game of business works. So locally, you'll make more cash, which is going to put more money in your pocket right now. And then virtually is a machine you build to establish, understanding you're probably going to take about 50 to 60% less than what you normally do in your local market. And you have to make up with it with volume. And there's a learning curve, and it's a little bit frustrating. And
Yeah.
that's the part that sucks about it. And there's no way around it. Everybody has to get through it. So, and then take that 15 grand and act like you're broke. That's my
Mm.
suggestion to you. Don't do what I did, dude. I went out and spent millions and millions of dollars my first 5 to 7 years wholesaling. And
Yeah.
I dug myself in a hole and I had to reinvent myself. And so once you learn how to make money, your next chapter is to learn how to keep the money.
Yeah.
And that's an art form in its own. And we all have to go through that journey to figure it out. So pretend you're broke and go back to the basics. Government list, expand your market locally. And then once you get that up and running, then you can start hunting for your virtual markets. And I
Yeah.
taught you how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just reverse engineer other people's egos. It's really
Yeah.
simple.
So you think that I should basically just pocket the money, not do anything with it? Because I was kind of thinking about, because I'm in school, so I have probably 3 maybe 4 hours a day to work on this, and I was just thinking of, getting a VA, just one VA, and cold calling a list for me, paid lists, and then me
You
going
can,
out.
but how comfortable, how much do you understand about cold calling?
I feel pretty comfortable. I feel like I know cold calling.
Yeah. So one of the number one problems that I encounter with people in your not you personally, but I'm just going to
Yeah.
give you the
Yeah.
numbers. Is they think they can just hire someone to cold call, and they understand the logic of cold calling, but they don't understand how to manage the VA. And
Mhm.
by the way, these VAs will stand in line and do it for you all day long.
Mhm.
So if you go on last week, me and Zach spent I think 15 minutes with a gentleman. I'm like, fire her, you're getting raped. He spent
Yeah.
$5,000, never got a deal. And he's just like, I thought this was going to be my cure. I'm
Wow.
like, she doesn't even know she's only doing what you telling to do, and you don't even really know what you want.
Yeah.
So in the perfect world, I know you're not going to like this answer, is you cold call the first 10,000 people and figure out some assimiles, and then you figure out how to manage people to do it. Because unless you cold call yourself, you don't understand, like people don't understand what they're asking for. VAs make it sound so perfect. Oh, I'll make 10,000 calls. I'll do this. I'll do that. And most people, 90% of the VAs fail. It's not the VA that's failing. It's just people don't know how to manage them. I've been
Yeah.
that person, by the way. So when I brought Zach in to do the cold calling, I mean, I think he made 1 million cold calls before we even hired a team to do it.
Wow.
And we just he goes, I know exactly how they're going to burn you. I know how they're going to cheat you. I know exactly what to do. And you got to manage it. And you got to understand managing people is a time suck, and you got to know how to do it. So another way you can consider, and I prefer you to find some deals off your government list, but look at our ROS mailer. I mean, I got to tell you, you could easily do it with one person, and you don't have to hire a cold caller or any of that stuff, and you'll probably get same, if not better results.
Okay.
So just check it out. Go to
Yeah.
mailingmastery.com, and I want you to study it. Now, mailing does have a cost. I don't want people to do it, but
Yeah.
for a very reasonable number, 1,000, $1,500, you can have motivated seller leads calling you, and then you can kind of manage your time. And eventually, if you want to bring in someone to help you answer the phones and do stuff like that. But I teach people how to do this once they get up and ramped. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 people right now doing 7 to 10 deals a month just off the system I taught them. It's just a learning curve. I don't push it on people brand new. But to be honest with you, I started out with direct mail after 6 months in this business. I'm like, holy crap, I found gold. because I don't have to spend any time doing this, and people call me and I know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
That was my high skill set. And so I skipped the cold calling thing. It wasn't the right move to a point, but it worked out. And
Mhm.
then I later did cold calling. By far, cold calling is the most effective. But if you got a VA and you don't know their history and you don't know how good they are, any VA in the world will work for you. They will take your money, and they usually take your first $3,000 to $5,000, and then you fire them, and then you figure out how to do it on your own. So I
Yeah.
want you to be very aware of it. And then my favorite are these gurus that have their cold call companies. Every one of them is pretty much a failed event. Why? Because they take all the cash and they use your money to fund their marketing campaigns. And then eventually they all go out of business, and they're all run from some foreign country. So they don't have to pay anybody anything. It's terrible. So
Yeah.
just be careful before you hire the VA, because everyone thinks that's their saving grace. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't know how to manage them and you've never really done a lot of high volume cold calling, they will tell you everything you want to hear, and they're hard as hell to manage.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And you can, but you know what the problem is? They go, well, I'll do 15,000 calls a month. You know what the budget to run 15,000 pieces of data to get the skip trace? It's expensive.
Mhm.
And for
Yeah.
that, sometimes you could just pick direct mail and just simplify your life. I'm somewhat biased. My son runs the cold calling department, but we do very well. But honestly, my direct mail like way outperforms cold calling. But keep in mind, we're not just doing government. We do everything mass scale because we have to. But if I was going to do a highly targeted list, man, but you just need cold callers to be productive. Anybody can cold call. Are you going to be productive for me or not? And that's the
Yeah.
big challenge. So you can look at mailing mastery, and then you can kind of make a decision, because sometimes you made some money so remember, direct mail takes 3 months, but I will tell you, cold calling will take you a minimum of 3 months to even be profitable too.
Mhm.
So figure out which one's not going to drive you as crazy, because with mailing, you're just managing yourself, and you can mail anywhere you want in the United States. Cold calling, boy, I get people. I won't use anybody out of the Philippines for cold calling because they don't understand American culture, and it drives Americans nuts.
Yeah.
They're like, what's a basement? Like, so in Florida, like they're like, where's the basement? I'm like, you got to stop at who's teaching about the basement. That's what somebody taught me. And by the way, experienced cold callers that have worked for other people, not only will they work for you, they'll work for 30 other people. And that is frightening if you think about that.
Mhm.
So just weigh your options. You get
Yeah.
a little bit control with direct mail, but it's going to cost you a little bit of money. But if you can wait 3 months, you get your return. You will not get a return on mailing in 1 month. And that's why most people fail in direct mail. So weigh your options and then come back on and you can make a decision.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Do
man.
you? I know it's run pretty long. Do you have time for one more question, or I
Yeah,
can hop
make
on
it quick. Let's go.
Yeah. I was just wondering what you guys use for, like, how often you follow up with your cold, warm, hot leads. How often?
Well, you got to classify them. If someone says, don't call me for a month, if you call them every other day, you're literally
Yeah.
going to get bludgeoned to death. So it's a waste of time. So you always classify them. The ones you're most interested in is 30 days or less. And you got to follow up. But like the problem is when they follow up and they can't keep making a decision, they keep telling you to call back. That's when you just got to press them a little bit,
Yeah.
because you don't want to sit in that like friend zone forever. But remember, real estate is timing. So I love to get the people that are ready to go, but why not plant seeds for the future? And you got to the problem is when you're just getting ready to do a contract, someone they're ready to go, and then they keep stalling you. You have to press like hell on that one. There's the person says, give me 3 months. There's no purpose in calling them back a week or two later. You just piss them off. You really do. But sometimes it's just timing. And with all the tools today, if it's way out 6 months or further, I'm going to use like an automated text or an automated email. I'm not even going to bother. But like stuff within 30 days, I'm all over. And here's the key. When you call them, don't call, hey, I'm just calling to see if you're ready to sell. I go, hey, I forgot why I called you, but why I got you on the phone. Where are we at with that house, man? I was just thinking about it just as I called you.
Yeah.
And sometimes I flat out say, listen, I think I butt dialed you, but why I got you on the phone,
That's
what's
good.
going on with the house? So you got to stop saying, listen, I'm just calling to follow up with you to see if you're going to sell me the house. People get tired of that stuff. So call them with an excuse. Hey, I had a quick question about the house. Was that a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom? Even though you know the answer.
Yeah.
And then see if they're going to give you any subtle hints that they're ready to sell.
Yeah.
But honestly, either they buy or they die for me. That's my motto. Like, period. Until you tell me to F off, you're staying on my list.
Yeah.
But if someone tells you wait 6 months and you're going to call them every day, dude, this isn't like used car sales 101. It's not going to, you cannot force them to sell your house. You just piss them off. So, and then every now and then just sticking like a little sticky note in the mail, it goes like a long way. So listen, just like little thank you letters. So you can buy them in bulk at Walmart for like $1.99. You get like 200 and
Mhm.
just stick them in the mail, dude. They go a long way. You'd be surprised how people like, oh man, that was really nice.
Cool. All right.
Okay,
Sounds good.
man.
I
I'll
appreciate it.
see you later.